Hello, this is Bill Monroe, and welcome to 2-Minute Talk Tips. This week's tip, let it go. Since I broke my basal ganglia a few months back, aka had a stroke, I've had to relearn quite a few lessons. One of which is to go ahead and embrace my inner Elsa and let it go, especially when I'm dropping things. For example, if I'm in the kitchen buttering some waffles or something, I probably will lean my cane up against the cabinets to get it out of the way and because I want to use my hand. But if that cane starts to slip down the wall or slide, my instinct is to try and catch it before it falls. And that's the wrong instinct. I need to just let it go. Because if I try to put down whatever it is that I already have in my hand so that I can reach over to grab the cane, I'm likely to end up dropping whatever it was I had in my hand, making a mess, reaching over quickly, and potentially losing my balance. So it's better if I just see that happening and let it go. It's the same with speaking. When something goes wrong during a presentation, like a laptop starts to go ahead and update or shut down, or you lose your place, or you see some papers start to tumble over, or, whatever it is, just let it go. Don't panic and rush into the middle of a catastrophe that happens to be ongoing. Let it go so you can then pause and then fix the problem calmly. Your audience is actually going to take their emotional cues on how to respond to the situation by watching you. If you panic and see it as a disaster, so will they. But if you handle it calmly and as not a big deal, they'll see it that way too. So that in the moment that a disaster or a mild irritation is starting to unfold, don't be afraid to just let it go. Stick around, and after the break, we're going to talk about how preparing for a presentation is very much like preparing for a road trip. Welcome back. It's been a pretty good day here at the 2-Minute Talk Tips worldwide headquarters. I actually got a new office chair, and it is awesome. It's even got blue Go Faster stripes on it and sort of a race car inspired design, which just makes it even more awesome. Of course, I haven't actually driven a real race car yet, but I have spent my fair share of time on the road, driving back and forth across this country. So why am I rambling along about driving? Well, because preparing a presentation is a lot like preparing for a large, epic road trip. They have at least 6 things in common, and I'm sure you could probably come up with some more. Those 6 are, first, deciding where to go. Second, brainstorming ideas for the trip. Third, consulting with experts. Fourth, checking and securing your resources. Fifth, finalizing your plan. And 6, allowing for side trips. So let's talk about the first one, deciding where to go. A great road trip may be about the journey, but before starting the journey, you have to know where you are journeying to. The destination gives you a purpose, and it sets the framework for the direction of the entire trip. When you start preparing a presentation, the first thing you also do is identify the purpose of your presentation. What is the result that you want? What do you want your audience to do as a result of your presentation? Start your prep work with the end result in mind so you know where you are ultimately taking your audience to and can frame everything around that ultimate destination. Look, if you're going to take the audience on a journey with you, make sure at least you know the destination. The next parallel is when it comes to brainstorming ideas. On a regular road trip, once you know where you're driving to, then you can ask yourself, what do I want to do on the way? Have you ever wanted to visit Graceland or Mount Rushmore, pop in on the Mississippi River headwaters, or visit the Corn Palace in Mitchell, South Dakota? Highly recommended, by the way. You think about all the roads you could take, the hotels you might want to stay at, who else you might want to travel with. Should you also try camping or maybe just sleeping in the back of the car in rest stops? Should you borrow or rent a nicer car than you have? See, this is your opportunity to get all of your thoughts and ideas out there as you get ready for that awesome trip. It's like that in your presentations too. Before you open PowerPoint or Keynote or Google Slides, before you start your outline or your script, start by brainstorming ideas and images and examples and points and arguments. Don't worry about getting only good stuff. Right now, you just want to get a lot of stuff. Get all of that stuff out there and on paper or on a whiteboard or on a computer screen or wherever it is that you're brainstorming all of this information. The key is to just come up with as many of these ideas as possible, and you can filter them out later. Whether it's talking about a story about a business meeting or a visit to a giant ball of twine somewhere out in the Midwest, once you know where you want to end up, you can start coming up with as many ideas as possible for what to do in that journey. The next parallel is to go ahead and consult with experts. You see, once you have all of these ideas, it's a great time to start asking your friends in real life or on Facebook or, Instagram or wherever if they've ever done any of these things or been to any of these locations or seen any of these great tourist things or popped in on that great band or about any of this other cool stuff that you should do or avoid during your prospective trip and during your plan. Go ahead and ask for all of those opinions. Go ahead and check the Yelp reviews for all these different things you're thinking about. Consult with those experts. When you build a presentation, it can also be smart to go ahead and consult with a SME or a subject matter expert. They can answer questions that you might have, provide additional advice, and also do some fact checking for you. So go ahead and talk with your experts before you begin your journey so that everyone, be it just the passengers in your car or the audience at your presentation, gets the best experience possible. Remember, just because you're the one who's up on stage or at the front of the room or talking to everyone, that doesn't mean you have all of the details. Rely on those experts and those SMEs to give you the additional background that you need to give an effective talk or to take an awesome trip. The next thing to do to be sure you have an awesome trip is to check your resources in advance. For example, do you have enough money for gas, food, and lodging? Do you have a plan to keep your phone charged? Do you have enough clean water and road trip food? How about appropriate emergency gear? Is your vehicle mechanically sound enough for the trip? Is there perhaps a different vehicle you want to take? Do you have enough time for your journey and to do all the things that you hope to do? When it comes to your presentations, you also want to check your resources. Where will you be presenting? What does the room look like? How much time will you have? Are there handouts you need to manage or ship in advance or have special processes for? Do you need to book air travel? Does your computer or the host's computer have the right software that you'll need? Check and confirm all these logistics and resources in advance to make sure that you have the tools you need to take the audience on their journey. Fifth is to go ahead and finalize your plan. You pick the route, you set your schedule, you go ahead and grab your music, of course, you pack your bags, you grab some snacks, and then you head out and enjoy the journey. When you're presenting, of course, you want to go ahead and lock your content and complete your slides and know your material. Part of finalizing your plan is rehearsal. This is where you work out the kinks and discover any unintentional tongue twisters that may have crept into your talk. You want to practice with your slides so you're 100% confident in how they work. And the more you practice and the more you rehearse, the more confidence you are going to build into your presentation and the more confidence you will have when you ultimately take your audience on their journey. Finally, make sure you allow for side trips. See, once you pull out onto the highway and start your road trip with your plan, anything can happen. You may get a flat tire or have other mechanical troubles. You may discover an amazing lake in Indiana or stumble upon a street fair in a small town in Alabama, or perhaps a bungee jumping over a lake opportunity in central Illinois. Approach your trip with a flexible mindset. Be ready to accommodate changes to the plan, both good ones and bad ones, whether they are detours in the road or fantastic opportunities you never anticipated. Be ready for that when speaking, too. Schedules and venues can change at the last minute. You may be asked to cut 15 minutes from your presentation or extend it an extra 10 minutes. New information or resources may suddenly come to light the morning you're scheduled to give your session. An audience member may even ask a fantastic question you hadn't considered and lead you to take a different direction in your talk. These detours can be stressful or they can be awesome, but there is no avoiding all of them. So prepare for your plan and embrace changes that will happen to it. Well, we've quickly cruised to the end of another episode of 2-Minute Talk Tips. Do you have any good road trip stories? I'd love to hear them. Have you ever used one in a presentation? That's even better. Go ahead and tell us about it at 2minutetalktips.com. This is going to be episode 36 on the website. If you like this and other episodes of 2minutetalktips.com, go ahead and ask a friend or a colleague to subscribe in their favorite podcast app. You can find iTunes, Google Play Music, and RSS links at 2minutetalktips.com. So next time things suddenly go totally sideways in a presentation, instead of panicking, just let it go. And as always, don't get best, get better. This is Bill Monroe. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you again next week.